The Galactic Council chamber shined with its usual fake perfection, glowing with soft lights, hovering screens, and proud banners of every alien species. But beneath that beauty lived an old arrogance that everyone pretended not to see. Delegates filled their seats, whispering, gossiping, laughing at the same joke they had repeated for decades. That humans were slow, behind, unadvanced, emotional, unpredictable, and never worth worrying about. They mocked Earth every chance they got, treating humanity like a child playing with tools it didn't understand. And the humans sitting quietly in the last row simply listened, heads lowered, hands still, showing no anger, no reaction, no sign that the insults touched them. The council believed human silence meant weakness. They believed human patience meant fear. They believed humanity would always accept humiliation because they were too soft for the galaxy's politics. But today, for the first time in thousands of meetings, something was wrong. It started small, a flicker on the main sensor screen. Then a second one. Then every long-range sensor in the chamber froze at the same time. Star maps stopped moving. Satellite feeds went black. Radar boards beeped errors. Communication graphs collapsed into flat lines. Delegates frowned, tapped their screens, slapped their consoles, confused and irritated. System glitch, one said. Typical technical fault, another muttered. Someone reboot the network, the speaker sighed. But no reboot worked. No system responded. No signal returned. For the first time in the Council's history, the galaxy looked completely silent. Not quiet, silent. A silence so total, so unnatural, that it felt like space itself was holding its breath. Some delegates laughed nervously, but their voices cracked. Some whispered prayers. Some looked around the chamber as if expecting an ambush. Even the air felt heavy, thick, tense. Then, one sound broke the silence. A single ping. One signal. One pulse. It hit the chamber like a thunderstrike, vibrating through the walls, through the desks, through the bones of every living being present. Every screen flashed the same source, Earth. Delegates shot to their feet, eyes wide, hearts pounding. Fear rippled through the entire chamber. Impossible, someone gasped. Earth does not have this kind of power, another shouted. They can't generate energy on this scale. But the readings were real, so real the machines struggled to display them. Humans in the chamber did not stand. They did not panic. They did not react. They sat still, watching the chaos around them like they had expected this moment for a long time. Another pulse from Earth hit the screens, a terrifying surge of energy beyond anything the Council classified as safe, legal, or even possible. The floor rumbled. Lights flickered. Glass vibrated. A few delegates fainted. Others crawled under their desks. The Council speaker turned pale, gripping the railing as if the ground might collapse. Sweat rolled down foreheads. Heartbeats thundered in ears. Someone screamed, "Black hole! It must be a black hole!" "No, energy readings don't match," a scientist cried. "Then what is it? What is it?" "Earth," a trembling voice whispered. "Earth did this." The screens finally stabilized and displayed the source of the energy, an image the galaxy had never seen before. It was not a ship, not a machine, not a reactor. It was a structure above Earth's orbit, massive, pulsing, glowing with spirals of light, bending space around it like reality itself was too weak to contain its power. Delegates stared, speechless. Some choked on their own breath. Some couldn't look away. A silence fell so deep even the machines seemed afraid to make noise. The human delegation finally raised their heads. Slowly, calmly, with eyes that held no fear, only a tired sadness and a warning. The council speaker forced his voice out. What is that? What did Earth create?" No one answered. Earth answered. A third pulse activated the chamber's universal channel and broadcast a message. The screens turned white, then slowly revealed Earth's surface and hundreds of human scientists, commanders, and leaders standing together. Their faces were calm, serious, unshaken. Behind them, that massive construct pulsed like a captured star. A voice came through, cold, steady, sharp enough to cut through panic. This is Earth. Project Armor is now active. Delegates froze. Weapon class energy detected, an AI shouted. Weapon class? That's beyond weapon class Omega. That's not possible. Shut it down. Earth must shut it down now. But Earth kept broadcasting. The image zoomed outward, revealing something far bigger. Earth's orbit full of hidden technology the Council had never seen. Ships that weren't there yesterday, stations that weren't there last week, reactors summoning energy from some unknown source. Delegates almost dropped to their knees. Humans built this. When? How? Why didn't we detect anything? The humans sitting at the back of the chamber finally looked up. Their calm made the aliens even more terrified. One delegate shouted at them, "What have you done? What is Project Armor?" The humans didn't answer. They didn't need to, because Earth answered again. A fourth pulse shook the chamber harder than the first three. This one wasn't energy. It was a revelation. The screens zoomed into the core of the massive construct Earth had created, revealing something the galaxy had no name for. It pulsed with blue fire, bending gravity, pulling light inward, forming patterns no science had ever predicted. The scientists in the chamber stuttered. This breaks physics. This violates every known law. This cannot exist. Delegates backed away from the screen like it might explode. Some started crying. Some collapsed. No alien had ever felt fear like this. For the first time ever, the galaxy understood what it meant to underestimate humans. Humans, however, were still calm. They watched the chamber fall apart around them with quiet, emotionless faces. They weren't proud. They weren't angry. They weren't triumphant. They looked relieved. As if this moment wasn't victory, but inevitability. The broadcast from Earth continued. A human scientist stepped forward, eyes sharp, voice steady. "You wanted to know our real strength," she said. "You wanted to measure us, limit us, control us." She paused. The chamber held its breath. "Now you will see it." Delegates screamed, some in fear, some in denial, some begging for answers. But the screens already shifted again. And this time, Earth revealed the part that made the galaxy physically shudder. Behind the glowing construct, behind the new orbital ships, behind the energy pulses, something else was waking up. A silhouette, a shape, a colossal structure humanity had kept hidden for decades. The image sharpened. Delegates gasped, some falling to their knees, some clutching their hearts, some unable to breathe. The council speaker whispered, voice cracking, "No, no, humans cannot have built that." The screens zoomed in. Humanity's secret stood revealed. Something so powerful, so advanced, so impossible that even the strongest alien species felt like insects staring at a god. The final message from Earth echoed through the chamber, calm yet devastating. "We never wanted war," the voice said. "But you kept pushing us." A long silence followed. Every heart stopped. Then humanity whispered the words that froze the galaxy in place. "Now you will learn what we really are." And the chamber shook like the universe itself bowed in fear. The chamber was still shaking from Earth's final message, but before anyone could recover, the screens flashed again, showing a flood of data no alien system could decode. Numbers jumping so fast they looked like a storm of light. Symbols forming patterns that no species recognized except one. The humans sitting silently in the last row, watching the panic unfold with calm, steady eyes. Delegates shouted at each other, desperate for answers, their fear turning into chaos. Why does Earth have this technology? How did we not detect anything? What are they hiding? What else have they built? But the humans didn't speak. They simply exchanged a glance, a quiet, heavy, emotional glance that looked like a secret they had carried for far too long. A secret the galaxy was never supposed to understand this late. The council speaker slammed his fist on the console, trembling. "Humans, explain yourselves," he screamed. "What did you activate? What is Project Armor?" The human delegation finally stood. Not fast, not with pride, but slowly, with the weight of 1,000 buried truths pressing on their shoulders. Their commander stepped forward, face calm but eyes carrying something dark. Pain, grief, exhaustion that didn't belong to a peaceful species. He spoke softly, but the silence after Earth's broadcast made his voice echo across the chamber like thunder. You think this is about power? A wave of fear swept across the aliens. The commander continued, you think we built that to threaten you? You think we revealed it to intimidate you? He raised his eyes, and for the first time, the galaxy saw something terrifying, human sadness, not anger. But this is not about you. Screens behind him shifted, revealing footage the Council had never seen. Destroyed human colonies, burned habitats, empty cities floating in space, planets that once held life now reduced to silent dust. Delegates gasped. Some covered their mouths. Some felt tears rise not from their own pain, but from the emotional punch of what they were seeing. These worlds are human, one alien whispered. How did this happen? Another shuddered. Mind-breaking. We never received any reports. Why didn't you tell us? The commander looked at him, the sadness turning sharper. We did. That sentence hit like a weapon. The screens changed again, showing hundreds of old transmissions. Messages from human outposts begging the Council for help. Warnings about strange energy signatures, disappearing ships, vanishing colonies. The timestamps were clear. The dates undeniable. Humans had reported these events years ago. The Council had ignored every message, deleted half of them, marked the rest as human exaggeration. Delegates stared helplessly at the recordings, shame drowning every heart. We thought humans were overreacting, an ambassador whispered. We thought you were imagining threats. A choked laugh escaped the commander's throat, not a happy laugh, but a painful one. Yes, he said quietly. You always think that. The screens zoomed into a recording of a lone human scientist sending a final message before her station was consumed by something unseen. Her voice shook as she whispered, please, someone listen. It's coming. It's feeding. Don't let them erase this. Please. The screen cut to black. Delegates cried openly. Even soldiers from warrior species looked away, unable to handle the raw emotion. The commander finally explained the truth in one sentence that shattered everything the galaxy believed. Project Armor was never meant for war against you. It was meant to stop what destroyed us. Panic crashed through the chamber. Destroyed? What? What is coming? What did you find? The commander turned toward the main screen. Not what, he said. Who? The screens zoomed out, showing deep space recordings, dark energy trails, gravitational scars, massive void distortions unlike anything the galaxy had ever documented. Some distortions were so large they stretched across entire star systems. The Council speaker nearly collapsed. No, this cannot be real. The commander's voice turned cold, steady. The galaxy has believed for centuries that space beyond the outer rim is empty. He paused. It isn't. The screens shifted again, showing something enormous moving in the darkness, a shadow crossing multiple star sectors. Delegates screamed. Some fainted. Some begged the humans to turn off the feed. The humans didn't. We tried to warn you, the commander said. We begged you to listen. His voice softened, emotional. But you were too busy calling us weak. The entire chamber fell silent, guilt crushing every breath. Then the screens displayed the current location of that enormous shadow. It had moved closer. Much closer. Closer than any galaxy wanted. We built Project Armor, the commander continued, because we are the only species that has seen this thing up close and survived. Delegates froze. Survived. The word felt impossible. The creature was the size of moons. It bent space. It erased planets. And humans had seen it and lived long enough to prepare? The commander lifted a small device and pressed a button. The screen zoomed into a recording captured from a barely functioning human ship. Static everywhere, alarms blaring, atmosphere burning. Through the smoke, something massive moved in the darkness. So big it blocked out starlight. So silent it felt wrong. So ancient that even the camera struggled to comprehend its shape. A whisper echoed from the recording. One human voice, choked with fear. It found us. The recording cut abruptly. The silence afterward felt like a knife. Delegates trembled. The speaker clutched his chest. The galaxy, for the first time in its history, felt true fear. And while aliens panicked, screamed, begged for answers, the humans stood still. Calm, quiet, focused. The commander finally spoke the sentence that changed everything. Earth isn't revealing power to threaten the galaxy. He looked around the chamber, eyes burning with a truth older than lies. Earth is revealing power because we don't have time anymore. Delegates went numb. Someone whispered, "Time, for what?" The commander raised his hand. The screen zoomed in on the creature's trajectory. Then the final message appeared in red. Estimated arrival, 27 days. The entire chamber collapsed into panic. Screams, shouts, terror. But over all the chaos, humanity's quiet voice echoed like thunder. You wanted to know our real strength. Now you will see why we needed it. The chamber was drowning in panic, every alien voice crashing over the next, every delegate shouting warnings, questions, denials, excuses, while the humans stood perfectly still in the middle of that storm. Their silence heavier than any scream. Their calm more frightening than the creature approaching the galaxy. The council speaker tried to regain control, slamming his hands on the console. But even his voice shook with fear as he yelled, "Order! Order!" The galaxy must not panic, yet his own words betrayed his terror. He knew the truth now. The council was not prepared, had never been prepared, and all their pride, laws, meetings, and arrogance meant nothing in front of the thing coming to erase everything they built. As the room spiraled deeper into fear, the humans exchanged a look, a quiet, painful look that said everything. We warned them. They did not listen. Delegates finally turned toward the humans, desperation breaking through their pride. Tell us what to do. How can we stop it? What is the creature? Why didn't you tell us earlier? That last question stabbed the chamber like a blade. The human commander stepped forward, expression calm but eyes burning with emotional exhaustion. He spoke softly, but every word cut deeper than any weapon. We tried. Again and again. The screens behind him lit up with evidence. Hundreds of human transmissions, years of warnings, urgent reports, distress calls from lost colonies, research data showing strange gravitational scars, disappearing systems, anomalous shadows moving in deep space. The council had ignored all of them. Not by mistake. By choice. We thought humans were exaggerating. A delegate whispered, voice cracking with guilt. We thought you wanted attention. We thought you wanted military funding. The humans didn't respond. Their silence made the guilt worse. Then the commander revealed something even heavier. The screen showed a timeline of human losses. Colonies wiped out one by one. Families vanished. Cities erased without a trace. Delegates watched in horror as the list grew longer and longer until the timeline reached present day. These were our people, the commander said quietly. These were our children. His voice broke slightly on that last word, and the chamber felt it like a punch to the soul. A young alien officer covered her mouth as tears spilled. We never knew, the commander looked at her, not with anger, but with a deep, heartbreaking sadness. You never wanted to know, he said. The chamber fell silent again, not fearful silence this time, but shameful, heavy silence. Then the screens switched from past recordings to something new, live feeds of human space. Earth's hidden fleet. Human war factories. Solar-forged megastructures. Railgun cores glowing like newborn stars. Teleportation rings bending space in slow, perfect arcs. Delegates stared in disbelief. This level of engineering. This is not human speed. How did they build all this in secret? The commander finally explained the truth, one that struck the galaxy emotionally and brutally. Humans do not grow strongest in peace, he said. We grow strongest in grief. Delegates felt that line in their bones. The galaxy always joked about humans being emotional, but now they understood emotions were humanity's fuel, its fire, its evolution engine. While other species hid behind council protection, humans buried their dead, learned from their losses, rebuilt, cried, worked harder, adapted faster, and rose stronger. And every time humanity suffered, something inside them sharpened. Something the galaxy had never truly seen. Until now. The screens zoomed into the colossal object humans activated in orbit. Project Arma's heart, glowing brighter, stabilizing faster, preparing for something unimaginable. One delegate whispered, Is that a weapon?" The commander shook his head. "Not only a weapon." Delegates leaned forward, terrified but curious. "Then what is it?" He answered with a single line that hit the room like a supernova. "It is a shield that can fight back." Delegates gasped, some stepping away from their desks, some dropping into their seats as the full meaning hit them. Earth had built something meant to protect the galaxy from a threat the Council never believed in. A threat now only 27 days away. And then the emotional core of Part 3 exploded. A hologram replaced the data, footage of the last human colony destroyed by the creature. Not soldiers. Not fleets. A civilian world. The recording was broken and shaking, but the final message was clear. A small human girl crying into a communicator, whispering through tears. "If someone hears this, please tell Earth. We tried. We ran. It found us." Delegates broke. Some cried openly. Some fell to their knees. Even hardened military species wiped their eyes. Humanity had carried this pain alone. The commander clenched his jaw as he watched the recording, grief tightening his voice. "That is why we built our strength," he said. "Not for domination. For survival." The council speaker whispered, What do you want from us?" The commander looked around the chamber, his gaze heavy but soft. "We want you to survive." The chamber froze. No one moved. No one breathed. Then the commander dropped the final emotional blow of Part 3. "If we fail, every species will die. If we fight alone, you will die first. And if you continue to doubt us, nothing will survive to regret it." Delegates looked at him with fear, but for the first time, also with trust. And the galaxy understood one truth they had ignored for centuries. When humanity finally stops hiding its strength, it is not to conquer. It is to save. The chamber was still drowning in guilt and fear when new alarms erupted through the hall, screens flashing bright red as fresh data poured in, and the council members panicked again. But this time their fear felt different. Not the usual fear of losing power, but the fear of losing existence itself. Delegates struggled to focus, shouting over each other, demanding answers, demanding safety, demanding someone fix the disaster they spent centuries ignoring, while the humans stood in silence, watching the chaos unfold with faces that carried something deeper than anger. Something that looked like sorrow and frustration mixed together, like people who wanted to help but were too tired of begging to be believed. The main screen flickered violently and then showed something no one expected. The creature's trajectory had changed. It was moving faster now, crossing a star system in minutes, devouring suns like snacks, bending gravity like cloth, leaving behind dead silence where entire worlds once existed. Delegates gasped, their skin turning pale colors, their hands shaking as they read the numbers. It accelerated again. How is that possible? It's feeding. Every star gives it more power. We are running out of time. But the humans didn't look surprised at all. The human commander stepped forward, his voice quiet, steady, painfully honest. "This is why we warned you. This thing grows when it eats. Every world it consumes makes it stronger. Every sun it devours makes it faster." The council speaker collapsed into his chair, trembling. "Why didn't you tell us it adapts?" The commander looked at him with hollow eyes. "We did. Many times." The shame in the room thickened like fog. Then the chamber lights flickered again as the screens switched to another recording. This one from inside a destroyed human station. It showed a handful of scientists in a dark room, their faces lit by emergency lights, their voices trembling. "It learns our weapons, it learns our defenses. It's not just a creature. It's a predator older than the galaxy." The recording cut out with a scream. Delegates closed their eyes, unable to watch more. But the humans watched every second, their eyes burning with the pain of memories they had carried alone. Then something unexpected happened. One alien commander, a proud warrior species, stepped forward, his voice breaking. Humans, we wronged you. We insulted you. We ignored your cries for help. He swallowed hard. I am sorry. That single apology shattered the chamber. More delegates followed. We judged you without understanding. We mocked your warnings. We let your colonies die. We failed you. The humans did not smile. They did not show pride. They simply nodded, carrying the weight of centuries of disrespect like a scar that finally received recognition. The commander finally spoke again, his voice soft but filled with purpose. We cannot change the past, but we can still save the future. Delegates leaned in, terrified but listening. How? Someone whispered. The commander tapped a device and the star map shifted, revealing Earth's hidden pocket dimension opening slowly like a shield peeling back. Inside it, massive human fleets hovered in perfect formation, ready, armed, engines burning with power. Alien jaws dropped. That's your military. But the numbers, this is impossible. You built fleets faster than we can build a single ship. The commander nodded. Because we had no choice. The map zoomed out, showing Project Armor expanding, massive energy rings rotating in synchronized motion around Earth's old position. Delegates stared in awe. Is this a weapon? The speaker whispered. A shield, the commander corrected. One that can defend entire systems. One strong enough to slow the creature. Delegates gasped again at the word slow, realizing humanity wasn't promising victory, only survival. We cannot kill it alone, the commander continued. We cannot face this enemy without your fleets. The chamber froze. Every alien felt a rush of fear, responsibility, and guilt. But our technology is weak compared to yours, a small alien said, trembling. The commander shook his head. Strength is not in weapons. Strength is in unity. Those words hit the chamber deeply. The galaxy had never united, not once in its entire existence. Every species always fought for dominance, for borders, for pride. Humans were the only ones who believed strength meant standing together. And now the galaxy understood why. The commander took a deep breath, the emotional weight visible in every line of his face. You mocked our emotions, he said quietly. But it is our emotions that made us strong. Delegates felt their hearts twist. You called us unstable, he continued, but it was our grief that helped us rise. The screens behind him shifted to images of destroyed human settlements again, but this time not showing bodies, not showing death, showing rebuilding. Humans working in ashes. Humans holding each other. Humans rebuilding cities from scratch. Humans refusing to give up. Humans standing back up every time the universe knocked them down. The commander pointed to the images. This is humanity's secret. Delegates watched in emotional silence. We do not break, he said. We do not stop. When we lose everything, we become stronger. That line hit every alien like a blade and a balm at the same time. The galaxy always saw humanity's emotions as weakness. Now they understood those emotions were the engine behind their evolution, their innovation, their survival. The commander then delivered the emotional core of Part 4. We do not want to lead the galaxy. We do not want to rule it. We want to protect it. Delegates stared. Then tell us what we must do, the speaker whispered. The humans exchanged one last look, heavy, painful, determined. The commander raised his hand. The screens shifted to a massive battle formation, showing where every alien fleet must move, where they must combine forces, where they must fight side by side. And then he spoke the line that changed the galaxy forever, stand with us, or everything dies. The chamber fell silent as the human commander's final words, stand with us, or everything dies, echoed through the hall like a cold wind blowing through a dying world, and in that silence every alien felt something they had forgotten long ago. Responsibility, not for their own species, but for the entire galaxy. Delegates looked at each other with trembling eyes, realizing their pride, their arrogance, their refusal to listen had brought them to the edge of extinction. But before anyone could speak, the screens flickered with another incoming feed. This time from deep human space, from the heart of the pocket dimension where Earth had moved itself. The feed revealed thousands of human scientists, engineers, soldiers, families, working together with a speed and unity no alien civilization had ever seen. Gigantic machines moved in perfect rhythm. Shipyards glowed like artificial suns. New warships were being assembled in minutes instead of months. Entire fleets rose from the darkness like creatures awakening from sleep. Delegates stared in disbelief. How can humans build this fast? One whispered. This is impossible. This is beyond engineering. But the commander knew the truth, and his expression carried a soft, heartbreaking weight. Humans build fastest when they are afraid of losing everything, he said quietly. And we have already lost too much. His words struck deeper than any weapon. The screens zoomed into the center of the human megastructure, Project Arma's core, and for the first time, the galaxy truly saw what powered it. Not a reactor, not a machine, a memorial, a place filled with the names of every human who died from the creature. Thousands of names, entire families, entire colonies. Delegates gasped. Some cried. Some covered their mouths in shame. Humanity had built its greatest weapon around its greatest tragedy. The commander's voice softened, raw emotion visible even through his calm exterior. We did not build this with pride, he said. We built this with grief. The room felt colder. He continued, every time one of our colonies went dark, we added more power. Every time another world disappeared, we added more strength. Every time a child cried into a communicator, we built faster. Delegates listened in silent horror. Humanity had carried a burden no one else cared about. The screen then showed human soldiers training inside gravity chambers so violent that alien physiology would crumble in seconds. Some soldiers collapsed. Others pushed through the pain. Every one of them stood back up. Why are they training so hard? An alien asked in a shaky voice. The commander replied with a single line that shook the room. Because they expect to die, and they want their death to mean something. Delegates' hearts twisted painfully. Humans weren't preparing to survive. They were preparing to sacrifice themselves for the galaxy. The chamber trembled as another alarm blared. New data loaded. The creature's energy signature had spiked again. It had eaten another sun. It was getting closer. Faster. Hungrier. Delegates panicked. We're running out of time. We must move our fleets. What do we do? The commander raised his hand, calming the chaos with a single gesture. You will follow our plan, he said. And you will listen this time. His tone wasn't commanding. It was pleading, tired, emotional, like someone who had been fighting alone for too long. The screens shifted again, showing a massive tactical map. Human fleets forming the front line. Alien fleets forming a second ring. Project Arma covering the rear. We cannot win alone, the commander said. But together, we can survive the first battle. Delegates flinched at the word first. You mean, there will be more? You mean this creature isn't the only one? The commander stared at them with a grief so deep it felt like the whole room sank under its weight. This creature is a scout. The chamber erupted again. Screams. Panic. Denial. But the humans stayed calm, because they had known this truth for decades. Suddenly, another feed opened, this one from the ruins of a distant human research station. The final message of a dying scientist echoed through the speakers. It's not alone. The others are sleeping, and when the first one dies, they will wake up. Delegates froze. The words repeated. When the first one dies, they will wake up. The commander closed his eyes, remembering the message all too well. This is why we built our strength in secret, he said. Not to fight you. Not to dominate the galaxy. But because we knew one day, something would come that could kill us all. Delegates finally understood what humanity had been preparing for. Not war. Not power. Not revenge. Extinction. The emotional weight crushed them. Many bowed their heads. Many apologized. Many promised their fleets. For the first time in history, the galaxy wasn't divided by species. It was united by fear, and by the hope that humans might save them. The commander watched their emotional reactions, and his voice softened again. You spent centuries calling us emotional, he said quietly. But emotion is why we will win. Delegates looked confused. The commander continued, we fight hardest when we have something to protect. And we protect everyone, even those who never protected us. The screen zoomed again, showing humans boarding ships, hugging their families, saying quiet, emotional goodbyes. They were going to war knowing they might not return. And yet, they smiled. The chamber fell silent, overwhelmed by the weight of human courage. The commander gave the final line of Part 5, a line that shook the stars. We are not strong because we are human. We are strong because we refuse to let the galaxy die. As the galaxy slowly accepted the truth of the coming darkness, a new alarm cut through the chamber like a blade slicing through air, and the screens exploded with violent red warnings, showing the creature had crossed another star system, consuming it so fast that even the light from that destruction struggled to travel through space. Delegates felt their hearts drop into a cold pit as they watched sun after sun collapse into silence, entire planets falling into nothingness, and the creature growing larger, faster, hungrier, more aware, its void shadow stretching like a hand reaching across an entire spiral arm of the galaxy. The humans did not panic. They had seen this before, but even in their calmness, an emotional heaviness pressed behind their eyes, a quiet fear born from old wounds and forgotten battles. The commander stepped forward, and his voice carried a weight that silenced every terrified whisper. It has seen our preparations, he said. It is moving faster because of us. That line struck the chamber with a shock deeper than any explosion. Delegate voices trembled. You mean, it's coming straight for Earth? It knows you can fight it. It knows you hurt it before. But the commander's voice did not waver. Yes, it remembers us. Delegates froze. The creature remembered humanity. That meant the ancient enemy recognized humans as a threat, not because humans were strong, but because humans had survived an encounter that no one else ever had. The screens zoomed into the creature's latest movement, a sharp turn of direction, the void shadow bending unnaturally as it changed course directly toward the center of Council space. Toward the fleets. Toward Earth's pocket dimension. Toward the only beings that had ever escaped its hunger. A wave of despair washed through the hall, but the humans stood like pillars in a storm, unmoving, steady, unbroken. Then the commander raised his hand, activating a new feed, the human war rooms. Alien eyes widened as they saw thousands of humans preparing for battle, their movements fast but controlled, their faces calm but emotional, their hearts burning with a fire the galaxy had underestimated for centuries. Human soldiers strapped into exosuits, their armor glowing with energy. Engineers ran through tight corridors as machines roared to life. Families gathered in massive halls, hugging their fighters, whispering goodbyes that felt painfully familiar, because humans always entered war with love behind them, not hate. Delegates watched a small moment, a young human girl holding her mother's armored hand, whispering, "Come back, Mommy, please." The mother kneeled, gently touched the girl's face, and smiled with a soft sadness only humans could express. "I will try," she said, "but even if I don't, I want you to know I fought to keep you safe." That emotional scene shattered the chamber. Aliens felt their throats close, some cried outright, others turned away in pain. The galaxy had never seen such simple, pure courage. The commander let the moment sink into every heart before speaking again. "This is what we fight for," he said. "This is what gives us strength." The tactical map expanded again, showing human fleets leaving the pocket dimension, thousands of ships emerging like rising stars, forming massive lines in space as Project Armor powered up, casting a blue glow across the void. Alien fleets attempted to form behind them, engines shaking with stress, pilots trembling. The humans waited for them, not ahead, not apart, but beside them, refusing to let the galaxy feel alone the way humanity felt for years. "We stand together now," the commander said. "Your ships will follow our formation. Your weapons will follow our timing. Your survival depends on unity." The speaker's voice broke. "And yours." The commander's eyes softened with an emotion deeper than fear. "We are ready for whatever comes," he said. "Humans always fight hardest when the darkness is strongest." Suddenly, the sensors spiked again. This time with a violent surge that shook every ship in the Alliance. The creature had folded space around itself, using a technique the galaxy had never seen. It wasn't just moving now, it was jumping. Delegates screamed as the creature tore through tens of light years in seconds, its massive void spirals ripping holes through reality. It's accelerating. It's collapsing star paths. We're too close. It will reach us before we finish deployment. The humans didn't break. The commander demanded, show the creature's projection. The screen shifted, and the entire chamber froze. The creature would arrive within hours, not days. It was coming with a speed that defied physics, hunger so intense the sensors cracked, and intelligence so ancient that even the strongest alien minds felt small under its shadow. Delegates trembled. We're going to die, a small alien whispered. It's impossible. No fleet can stand against that. No weapon is strong enough, no species is brave enough. The commander looked at them. No anger, no pride, only a steady fire behind his eyes. We are, he said. Humans are. Another feed opened, showing the human flagship, the Aegis Rising, a massive vessel twice the size of any alien dreadnought, its hull glowing with supercharged energy, its railguns humming like living thunder. Its engines lit with the color of burning stars. Its core pulsed with something old, something powerful, something unstoppable. The entire chamber felt it. The alien fleets felt it. The creature felt it. This ship, the commander said, was built for one purpose, to face the thing that took our worlds. Delegates stared in awe. But, it's not enough, someone whispered. It cannot win alone. The commander nodded slowly. No, it cannot. Then he said the emotional line that defined Part 6, but together, we make it enough. The Alliance fleets began aligning, engines roaring, weapons powering up in sync with human ships. Human and alien officers exchanged nods, fear turning into courage, guilt turning into loyalty, doubt turning into fire. And with one final boom, Project Armor opened fully, lighting the entire void with a blue glow so bright it reflected off distant moons. The commander looked toward the incoming creature, a shadow growing larger with every heartbeat, and he whispered, "Come then." The chamber shook with the creature's approaching roar. Humanity stood ready. The galaxy stood behind them, and the darkness rushed forward as the creature closed the final distance with a speed that broke every known law of physics. The entire Alliance fleet shook under the pressure of its approach, the void around it twisting like a whirlpool, stars bending out of shape, space rippling as if reality itself was rejecting its presence, and every alien heart felt a fear so ancient it made their bones feel cold. But the humans did not break. Instead, their eyes sharpened with a calm determination that came from lifetimes of loss, years of hidden preparation, and a history of rising again and again from the ashes of their own tragedies. The commander stood on the bridge of the Aegis Rising, watching the monster tear through the last empty sector before breaching the front lines, and he knew this battle would not be about skill or strength alone. This battle would be about sacrifice, unity, and the emotional fire humanity carried like a second heartbeat. The creature unleashed the first strike, a massive shockwave of dark energy that surged like a tidal wave across space, smashing into the Alliance fleets, sending dozens of alien ships spinning out of formation, tearing shields apart, crushing hulls like they were made of paper. But the humans pushed forward, stabilizing their ships, redirecting power, pulling damaged vessels behind their formation, protecting the galaxy even as they were the ones carrying the highest risk. The alien commanders watched in awe as the humans moved with insane speed and precision, their ships slipping through distorted gravity fields, their drones teleporting around the creature's limbs, their railguns firing rounds that tore small fractures into the beast's hide. But every hit made the creature angrier, and its roar shook the battlefield like a collapsing star, a roar that wasn't sound but pressure, emotional pressure, fear pressure, psychic pressure, like it was speaking directly into every mind it wanted to devour. Alien pilots cried out, clutching their heads. Some ships lost navigation. A few fainted mid-battle. But humans gritted their teeth, pushed through the mental assault, and fired again. And then, something happened that changed the entire war. A small alien cruiser, A fragile ship from a species known for peace, not war, got caught in the creature's gravity spiral. The ship's engines flamed, hull cracked, alarms blared, and its crew began screaming for help as they were pulled closer and closer to the creature's devouring core. The creature opened its void mouth, ready to consume them. The aliens begged for help. The council stuttered. The fleets panicked. But the humans didn't hesitate, not even for a second. The Aegis Rising fired its teleport shield at full output, ripping itself partially open, risking structural collapse, and teleported directly into the gravity spiral, inserting itself between the creature and the dying alien cruiser. The impact nearly tore the flagship apart, but the cruiser survived. The alien captain broke down crying on the comms, whispering over and over, "Humans saved us. Humans saved us." Delegates in the council chamber covered their faces, overcome with emotion. Every alien on the battlefield saw it. Humanity would rather die than let another species vanish the way humans' own colonies had. The creature responded with rage, striking the Aegis Rising with a beam of dark energy so strong it cracked half the ship's armor, blew open entire decks, and sent human crew flying across corridors as alarms screamed through smoke-filled hallways. But the humans kept fighting. Engineers crawled through fire. Medics dragged the wounded. Pilots kept their hands on controls even as blood dripped from their foreheads. The commander himself stayed standing even when the bridge tilted under the force of the impact. He wiped the blood from his face and whispered, "Hold the line." The creature then lashed out again, this time unleashing a gravitational pulse that collapsed dozens of Alliance ships into each other, creating a chain reaction of explosions that lit up an entire sector like a dying sun. The fleet screamed in fear. The galaxy shook. But humanity pressed forward, because this is what humans do. They walk into darkness even when darkness wants to swallow them whole. The commander saw what needed to happen next, something so dangerous, so insane, so emotional that only humans would dare try it. "Activate the Heartline Protocol," he ordered. Gasps filled every human ship. The Heartline Protocol was a last resort move, one that required human ships to link their reactor cores through a chain of energy bridges, forming a single unified power flow designed to rip open the creature's defenses long enough for a final strike. But it came with a cost. If even one ship overloaded, the entire chain would collapse, causing a blast large enough to kill millions. And the humans still activated it. One by one, the human ships lit up, their reactors joining together like beads of fire on a glowing thread, energy pulsing between them like a heartbeat, the heart of humanity beating across the battlefield. Alien crews watched with trembling awe. They're risking everything. Why? Why would they do this? The commander heard those voices over comms and whispered the answer softly, a painful truth spoken from a bleeding soul. Because we refuse to let any more worlds die. The heartline pulse surged, striking the creature's core in a flash of burning light that tore a massive wound across its body, making the monster roar in agony as void energy spilled out like black fire. It was the first time in history the creature had been truly injured. Human ships shook violently from the shock. Some reactors cracked. Some ships lost control. Some hulls split open. Sacrifice after sacrifice. Pain after pain. But the wound was there, a real wound. The first sign that the monster could be hurt. The galaxy watched in disbelief. The creature flailed, gravity spirals collapsing, void limbs shredding through space, trying desperately to regenerate. The commander saw it. And he whispered the line that defined Part 7, "This is our chance. Don't waste what we paid for." The humans surged forward with everything they had left. The aliens followed them, not out of orders, not out of duty, but out of respect, shame, and newfound loyalty. The creature screamed. The fleets fired. The void shook. And for the first time, the galaxy believed it might actually win. The battlefield burned like a dying star as the creature thrashed in agony from the wound humanity had carved into its ancient body, void energy spilling across space like black lightning while Alliance fleets struggled to stay in formation, every ship trembling under the violent shockwaves. But even in that chaos, humanity pushed forward, refusing to give the monster even a single breath to recover. The Aegis Rising roared toward the wounded core, its hull cracked, decks shattered, alarms screaming like wounded beasts. Yet the human crew refused to stop, dragging themselves through fire-filled corridors, holding onto rails as gravity flickered, their determination burning brighter than the flames consuming their ship. The creature turned its full attention toward humanity now, its void mouth opening wider, darkness swirling inside like an endless storm, preparing to unleash a final attack strong enough to erase entire fleets in one blast. And even the bravest alien commanders felt their courage collapse in their chests as they realized this final attack would wipe everything. The commander of the Aegis Rising stood on the bridge, barely able to stay upright as sparks rained around him, smoke choking the air, wounded officers slumped against consoles. Yet his eyes remained alive. Fire, grief, courage all living in the same gaze, because he knew this was the moment humanity had been preparing for since the first colony fell. "Align the heart line for the final pulse," he commanded, voice steady even though his body shook. His officers stared at him in shock. "Sir, another heartline pulse will kill us." The commander looked at them with a tired, emotional sadness. "If we don't, the entire galaxy dies." Those words spread across every ship in the Alliance. Humans prepared without complaint. Aliens froze in place, feeling the weight of what was about to happen. Not strategy, not victory, sacrifice. The creature sensed the danger, its limbs flaring outward as it unleashed a gravitational scream so powerful hundreds of alien ships cracked instantly, shields shattering like glass, and for the first time, even the bravest species in the galaxy screamed in pure terror. But humanity did not scream. Humanity held the line. With one final surge of effort, thousands of human reactors connected into one glowing chain again. The heart line forming brighter and hotter than before, every ship feeding its life into the pulse, engines dimming as if breathing their last breath. The creature panicked. It launched a massive void beam directly at the heart line, a beam capable of ripping open space itself. The commander whispered one last time, almost like speaking to a memory, "For the ones we lost, for the ones we protect," and he activated the final pulse. The explosion of light that followed was so bright it erased the stars for several seconds. A spear of pure energy tore through the creature's core, ripping its ancient body apart, void matter collapsing inward as its limbs disintegrated into darkness, its scream echoing across psychic space before fading into silence. A silence so complete that even the dead seemed to listen. The entire galaxy watched as the creature's massive form fell apart like dust in the wind. It was over. The galaxy had survived. The impossible had happened. Humans had won. But victory came with a price. The Aegis Rising floated in ruin. Half of it missing, fires still burning, thousands of human ships drifting powerless across the battlefield. Reactor cores empty after giving everything they had. The heart line was gone, burned out forever. Dozens of human ships were silent. Too silent. Alien fleets rushed to rescue them, guilt flooding their hearts, shame burning their throats, because the species they mocked, insulted, ignored, had just saved them all. The commander of the Aegis Rising collapsed to one knee, blood dripping from his chin, vision blurry, the bridge around him a graveyard of broken screens and fallen crew. He managed to reach the comm panel, whispering, "Status of the galaxy." And then something happened that froze every beating heart in the universe. The sensors, still flickering from the battle, picked up a signal. One signal. Then two. Then five. Then dozens. Then hundreds. Massive energy signatures ignited across deep space, far beyond the edges of the galaxy, lighting up star maps like red warnings written by the universe itself. At first, the delegates didn't understand. Then the fear hit them like a blade. The creature they defeated wasn't the end. It was the beginning. The screen filled with red dots, too many to count, each one moving, each one waking, each one bigger than the monster they had just killed. A whisper spread across the council chamber, choking every voice. The others woke up. The commander stared at the screens with exhausted eyes, his voice breaking as he whispered the truth no one was ready for. This creature was the smallest. A wave of horror swept through the fleets. Alien captains froze. Soldiers shook. Civilians watching across thousands of worlds collapsed in fear. The humans did not collapse. Even broken, bleeding, barely alive, they stood. Together. Unbroken. The commander forced himself to stand straight, his voice soft but carrying enough strength to reach every ship, Every world, every species. We hurt the first one, he said. Now the others know we exist. A long, terrible silence followed. Then he gave the final line of the story, the line that created the biggest cliffhanger in HFY history: prepare everything. The real war begins now. And the galaxy shuddered.